Hi, Ben. My name is Lexie, and I want to tell you about my identity crisis. I was unknowingly part of a community that saw me long before I ever saw myself. And for the past 10 years, I've been learning how to show up in that truth on my own terms. That's because for the first 18 years of my life, I was secretly Black.
Today, The Secret Room presents I'm Black, Part 1. On this episode, we're going to open our hearts to Lexie, who at the age of 18 had a truth bomb dropped on her. She's Black. I can hear all your questions already, because I had them too. And one question that rose above them all, of course, is how could she not know? But as you'll come to learn, hers is a complicated story of family, secrets, and broken trust. Let's get started. Hi, Lexie, and welcome to The Secret Room.
Hi, thank you so much, Ben. I'm excited to be here.
You're welcome. I'm so excited to have you here. You have such a mind-bending secret for us.
Yeah, you're telling me.
In a nutshell, your secret is that you didn't know you were Black until you were 18.
Yep, that is right.
There are so many questions I can just feel racing through people's minds. And I know because I posted your secret to our Facebook discussion group and asked for questions to ask you in advance.
Yeah.
And I'm going to work those in.
Yep, I got you.
Your mom had you young, right?
She had me 2 weeks after she turned 20. You know, we're flashing back to the 90s. Everyone's wearing big baggy clothes all the time. So my mother actually did not tell her parents that she was pregnant. So I was a very big fun surprise in a very big fun way. I came a little early, which my mother was not expecting, of course. My grandparents were actually leaving for an appointment. And my mom comes rushing out of the bathroom and lets them know that she's in labor.
Oh my gosh. Now, how did they not know she was pregnant?
A lot of it had to do with the fact that her fashion sense was those, those big baggy clothes. And she spent a lot of time at school and at work. So she wasn't around my grandparents very often. You know, she was 19, exploring the world and hanging out with her friends, going to parties, all of the things that you do when you're in your, early 20s, late teens. And so they didn't see her very often. And when they did, she was wearing those big clothes. And so they just had no idea. She loves to point out that I was the perfect of the 3 kids that she had because she only gained like 6 pounds with me.
Okay, so you were a small baby.
Yes. Did
her friends know she was pregnant? Or this was a secret from the world?
I believe a few of her very close friends knew, but not very many people were aware that she was pregnant.
She got pregnant by a boyfriend?
I don't know if I would call him a boyfriend.
Okay. Just not sure how to refer to him.
A cutesy little fling. Okay. Yeah, he was a fling.
And was he still on the scene when she gave birth?
He was not. He had already left the state at that point.
Okay. Did he know that she was pregnant?
So this is where it gets really fun, this part of this story. I like to say that there are 3 truths in this story.
Okay.
There's my mom's truth, my biological father's truth, and what really happened.
Okay.
So, yeah, it gets a little hairy with whether or not he knew. In my mother's version of events, my biological father did know.
Okay, yes. Well, we're going to sort through those 3 threads as we move through the interview. How's that?
Yeah. Sounds great.
Where did you grow up?
I like to call it a metropolis. It's not quite a huge city like Chicago or New York. Grew up in the Midwest, but it was still a larger city. I grew up inner city. My neighborhood was, it was pretty loud, pretty lively. Everyone knew each other's business, which was a good thing. Everyone looked after, your neighbor's kids. If they were doing something wrong, my mom would find out about it within the hour. My next door neighbor was actually my lunch lady in elementary school, so couldn't get away with anything at school either.
And who raised you?
It was very much a village sort of effort. My mother spent most of my childhood living with my grandparents, mostly because her husband was kind of in and out of our lives at that time. So it was a big village effort. It was my mom, my grandmother, and my grandfather.
And did you have any siblings living with you too?
Yes. I have a younger brother and a younger sister who lived with me at that point.
And so who were they? Who was their father?
Their father was my mother's husband.
Okay.
First husband, I guess.
Help me understand then. Bio dad had left the state.
Yes.
And your mom met somebody else?
She did. So my sibling's father was actually my mom's high school sweetheart. They were a few grades apart. So when my mom graduated and went to college, they decided to take a break, which was when my mother met my biological father.
Your mom's husband, we're calling him your dad.
We're going to call him Eric.
Okay, so Eric, tell me if I have this right. You're living in your grandparents' house with your mom, Eric, who is not your bio dad. He's your mom's husband after your bio dad
That is
left
correct.
the scene.
Yeah.
And your sister and brother, who are your half-siblings by Eric.
Yes.
Okay, great. Now, just to be clear, everybody living in this household is white.
Yes, very much so.
To your knowledge, you are too. Nobody's said you're black. You don't think you're black. You are white as far as everything is concerned.
Yes, and I grew up assuming that, I'm looking at all these people, they're all white. Obviously, I must be too. I just figured I got a lot of recessive genes.
Okay. So do you present black? You said you had recessive genes, so you must have darker features than the rest of the family.
Yes. So I will say my mother, my siblings, Eric, my grandparents, everyone is incredibly pale.
Okay.
I think the blue-eyed folks outnumber the people in my family that have hazel eyes. My brother and sister have lighter colored hair, and at most my sister's hair is wavy. And then there's me. I have very coarse curly hair. I have darker skin. My eyes are dark. So it was a pretty vast contrast when you put us all together, especially because the members of my mother's side of the family aren't just white. They are ghostly. They are very, very pale humans. They could, yeah.
So was this ever a topic of conversation in the household? Like, gee, Lexie, you don't look like the rest of us? In a nice way. Yeah,
it wasn't brought up very often. Whenever I would ask questions, I didn't ask questions of my mother's side of the family very often. Obviously, I looked different. I just kind of accepted that. But then once I met Eric's side of the family, so that didn't happen until I was a little bit older. That's when I started asking more questions because I allegedly got my physical appearance from them. But Eric's parents were also very pale and blonde hair, blue-eyed, so I was a little confused.
But you're not related to him by blood.
No, but at the time I thought I was, so...
Oh, you thought he was your bio dad?
I did think he was my biological father.
Oh, the plot thickens.
Yes. Okay.
So everybody around you is really pale, and you are darker complected.
Yes. So I do get a little paler, in the colder months since there's not a lot of sun. One of my good friends says in the winter, it's my sugar cookie season.
Okay.
But I
That's
wouldn't
cute.
necessarily call myself passing. I am a little too dark to pass.
You would call yourself not white passing.
Yeah.
Even though you were giving yourself a pass and everybody around you was.
Yes, everybody in my family was giving me a pass.
Okay. But not so at school?
No. The school that I went to was super diverse. Mm-hmm. And so there were a plethora of different colored kids, different religions, different, socioeconomic backgrounds. So at school, I just kind of blended in with the other mixed race kids, and it wasn't abnormal to have 5 or 6 mixed race kids in our class. There was actually a girl that I went to school with who was also mixed race. We were in the same class. Our names rhymed, which was really cool. Our principal used to call us the twins, and I remember thinking that's so odd because, her dad is white and her mom is black. How can, we can't be twins. I'm just Italian.
Before we started the interview, you told me a funny story about how your family explained your hair.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one. when I say, like I said, I didn't ask my mother's side of the family questions, when I got introduced to Eric's side, I was full of them. I was ready to figure out why I look the way that I look. You know, why is my hair like this? And so I ended up asking his mother. It's like, where do I get my curly hair from? And, you know, I was way too old to believe this story. I was 16 years old when she told me this. But she let me know that I got my curly hair from the Italian side, of course, but she gave them a name, which was the Frizziolis. Yeah.
The Frizziolis, as in they had frizzy hair?
Yep, that's exactly right, Ben. Frizzioli, frizzy hair. That's why, you know, I get those traits from the Frizziolis.
This is too much.
I believed it.
This is too much.
Yeah.
And you've got a really great family life, right?
Oh, yeah. I was so well loved. I'm really very privileged to say this, but, you know, I didn't have any childhood trauma. Mm-hmm. You know, I grew up in this loving village. I got to be very close with the entire side of my mom's family. You know, we did big Christmases, any holiday you can think of. If it was on the calendar and people got to take work off of, like, we were all together in a house, just enjoying each other.
So you had absolutely no reason to think that there was a secret surrounding your true identity, your origin story, that anybody was lying to you about where you got your hair or why you have darker complexions. If they say, you know, your trusted, loving family, if they say you got it from some ancestor or from some side of the family called the Frizziolis, you had no reason to disbelieve them.
Absolutely not. You know, yeah. I had no reason to think that there was this giant dark skeleton in the closet.
Right. Wow. Stay with me as we continue to unravel Lexie's secret. It is so cold in much of the country right now, and here in DC we're calling the snowpack on the streets snowcrete. And when the temperatures are this cold outside, nothing warms up the house like cooking up a fresh loaf of bread. And here's a tip. You can do it easily with Wild Grain. Wild Grain is the first bake-from-frozen subscription box for fresh artisanal breads, pastries, and pastas. Plus, all items conveniently bake in 25 minutes or less. I like the product so much I used my own coupon code to join, and you should too. The croissants are exceptional, and the sourdough bread is some of the best that I've ever had, and it pairs so well with the churned French butter. Just store the bread in your freezer until you're ready to bake it, and 25 minutes later, a fresh, warm, soft loaf awaits. Right now, Wild Grain is offering Secret Room listeners $30 off your first box, plus free croissants in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/secret to start your subscription, or you can use promo code SECRET at checkout. Wild Grain's boxes are fully customizable, perfect for easy dinners, cozy weekend brunches, and warming you up in the cold weather. There is nothing like having an artisan bakery in your freezer to chase away the winter chill. Now is the best time to stay in and enjoy comforting, homemade meals with Wild Grain. I highly recommend giving Wild Grain a try. Right now, Wild Grain is offering Secret Room listeners $30 off your first box, plus free croissants for life when you go to wildgrain.com/secret to start your subscription today. That's $30 off your first box and free croissants for life, or you can use promo code SECRET at checkout. Check the show notes for the link.
If you have weight loss goals, it can be really confusing on where to even start. It can be hard to decipher which influencer or doctor or system to try. With Weight Loss by Hers, you can cut through the static and get the personalized care you need to hone in on your best plan. So if you've been struggling with your weight loss journey, it's time to find the best option that works for you through Hers. Visit forhers.com/secret to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. Through Hers, you're connected with a medical provider who determines if treatment is right for you. Plus, you can get access to a range of treatment options, like oral medication kits or GLP-1 injectables. And Hers isn't just weight loss. It has comprehensive, personalized healthcare you can count on. From weight loss support to growing thicker hair, easing anxiety, to navigating menopause symptoms, even accessing convenient lab testing, Hers has you covered from head to toe. I am known to hit a plateau or even struggle to maintain my weight loss. And with Hers, you can make adjustments and get in contact with the provider to help you get back on track. It makes me feel so much more supported. Feel like your best self again. Visit forhers.com/secret to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. That's forhers.com/secret. forhers.com/secret. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded drug products are not approved or evaluated for safety, effectiveness, or quality by the FDA. Prescription required. See website for full details, important safety information, and restrictions. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased. Check the show notes.
And we are back. Aside from being a darker complexion, were there ever any clues that you might have stumbled upon that might lead you to believe there was some other truth?
Oh, yeah. I love to call these breadcrumbs.
So what was your first breadcrumb?
The first breadcrumb was actually at a wedding. It was like a third cousin to me. So like a second cousin of my mom. So my mom's entire side of the family was there. It was a big deal. Everyone's, drinking, laughing, having a great time. When I was younger, so I want to say I was probably about 7 or 8 when this wedding happened. I love old people. I've always loved old people. So instead of dancing with the rest of the kids, I'm sitting with my grandmother and all of the great aunties and uncles, just listening to them talk.
Oh.
So, yeah. So at that point, it was pretty late in the night. I remember that. And alcohol was served and people indulged. And so one of my aunties, who was absolutely just pissed drunk, looked over at my grandmother and said, so does she know about her daddy yet?
Ooh.
Yeah. And, I remember being a little confused about that.
So you thought she was talking about Eric?
I did think she was talking about Eric. Yeah. So because Eric was in and out of our lives so often, I just, I assumed that's what she was referencing. And there's something to know about my grandma. She takes no shit. She's kind of a scary lady. She ran warehouses in the 80s as a woman. So she's kind of a badass. So when my aunt asked my grandma if I knew about my daddy yet, my grandma was not happy. She gets very defensive and says what are you talking about? You're obviously drunk. And my auntie, trying to stir the pot a little bit, some aunties do, she said, her real daddy. And so my grandma, she's a quick thinker. She hops up and, says, what are you talking about? Just because Eric isn't here doesn't mean he's not the kid's dad anymore. Great save.
Yeah, that was good. Did you ever ask grandma any follow-up questions on that? Not
then, no. I assumed that was the end of it. I assumed they were just trying to talk a little shit about Eric, which happened often.
And how old were you at the time?
I was 7 or 8.
Okay, yeah, that would stick with me too, but you were so young, so yeah, you're not really positioned well, just in terms of your age, to start asking a bunch of follow-up questions. So
yeah.
Yeah. Now, you said your dad, Eric, was in and out of your lives a lot.
Yeah, so my mom hates that we poke fun about this, but like I said, Eric and my mom were high school sweethearts. They ended things. Then after I was born, they did get back together. They got married after my mom got pregnant with my sister.
Mm-hmm.
And then a few years later, they got divorced. And then a few years after that, they got remarried. And then they got divorced again. Yeah. And then my brother was born. They tried to work it out. They were planning on getting married again, but they ended up parting ways. He was just, he was a little immature. He wanted to stay out late drinking, playing darts. He wasn't ready for real life responsibilities.
Was there another breadcrumb?
Yeah. The next year, I was chosen by my school music teacher to participate in a very large district-wide choir. So all of us who were chosen for this choir got to meet up at a high school and then perform there, just because, larger auditorium, larger performing and practicing space. But this school in particular had Africa in its name.
Okay.
The school itself had an African-centered curriculum. It was focused on like the African American heritage, experience, contributions within the United States. And I would say a vast majority of this choir were children of color.
Okay, so your music teacher had placed you in a African American choir.
Yep, she sure did.
And she, I guess, assumed you were mixed race or black?
Yeah.
Based on your appearance, and thought that would be appropriate.
Yep, and that was not the first time that happened at school. Or the last time, rather.
Wow, okay. So people saw you as black, even though you did not see yourself that way.
Yes, they did. I didn't clock it at all. I was blissfully unaware, just enjoying performing.
And did your mom have anything to say about the choir?
No, she did not. My family came. They supported me. There wasn't much else said about it.
So you suspect you were selected for the choir by your music teacher because the teacher thought you were black based on your appearance. And we now know that she was not wrong.
Yes. Yeah. I do believe that.
Was there one standout feature that you had that was harder to explain away than others?
Yeah, absolutely. From the beginning, it was my hair. The people in my family have a slight wave to their hair at most.
Except for the frizziolis.
Yeah. But I have always been different from the very beginning. My hair was really hard for my family to get a handle on. It is thick. It is coarse. It is curly. Even now I have a solid 4 different types of curl patterns to it. So there's just so much of it. And, my hair didn't come with any instruction. No one in my family knew how to
Right.
deal with that. Yeah.
How did your family approach it?
There were a lot of attempts to manage my hair over the years. The most notable were the at-home relaxers. It's one of those things where, like, if you know, you know. So most folks who grew up with coarse hair, specifically black girls, black women, like, remember the little girl on the front of the box. Like, I truly can still see her in my eye. Like, if I close my eyes, I can see that girl on the box. I see her in my nightmares.
Oh my
I see
gosh.
her, whenever they would pull out those relaxers, I just knew, like, it wasn't comfortable on my scalp. I didn't like the smell. And so, my mom would buy those from CVS or a Walmart, and she would sit me down in the kitchen and just do her best to try and, relax the curls to make them more manageable.
Did anybody ever take you to a salon that knew something about black hair?
My grandma did. She was very tired of, the amount of energy and time that it took because, like I said, they simply didn't understand my hair. And she was ready to just do what she could to make it more manageable for herself and my mom. So she went to the stylist and requested a haircut just like Halle Berry, the one mixed race person who was all over media at that point in time. So that nice little pixie cut that she had back in the day.
So it sounds like maybe your grandma knew your true origin story also.
Oh yeah, she knew.
Okay, we're fitting some pieces together. So how did it go at the salon?
It went. I ended up leaving the salon looking like a Q-tip or like a little old lady.
Okay.
Because my hair was, Halle Berry's hair was straightened when she had the pixie cut.
Yeah.
They decided to try and do that on my hair texture, and I just looked like someone's Nana, but small.
And how old were you?
Oh, I had to have been maybe 8 or 9.
Okay, so you're 8 or 9 rocking an old lady haircut.
Oh, yeah.
Did you keep going back to the salon? Did that stick?
We did not keep going to that same salon. My mom wanted to see if she took me to her salon, what those stylists could do for me.
Okay.
So definitely, they definitely weren't equipped for my type of hair. And this is something that still kind of haunts me to this day. The entire time they're doing my hair, they're just complaining about how their wrists hurt and how they're tired. It was just one of those things where I felt guilty for being there.
Oh.
I felt bad.
Okay.
You know, I'm younger, and I ended up just, you know, sitting in that chair crying the entire time they're doing my hair because I felt bad. Time after time, my hair is kind of being introduced as this nuisance, and now I have professionals who are also saying, like, yeah, this is too much.
Did anybody recommend braiding?
There was a time when I was a little bit older, I went back to getting relaxers. I discovered the flat iron, and that was super fun and destroyed my hair.
Oh, no.
But when I was getting these relaxers, a Black woman looked at my grandmother who had taken me to the salon and handed her a card saying that she did at-home braiding, and it would be a phenomenal idea to do during swimming season, you know, to protect my hair, and it would give them a break. I could have left them in for 3 or 4 months, you know, and it would have been a nice break for everyone. It would have looked good. But my mom was not super into that idea. My grandma was a little more eager to do it just because it was a big deal. Nobody in my family knew how to do my hair.
Why was your mom not into it?
I think the biggest issue is that she wanted to make sure that the facade didn't fall. Little white girls didn't walk around very often with, you know, their hair cornrowed.
Oh, so if you get braids, the secret's going to be out.
Exactly. I'll start asking more questions. You know, I'll start recognizing that I look like these kids at school. I'll start seeing myself in them more. And so I think she was a little afraid to step into that zone.
Okay, so you did get your hair braided then?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you did not?
I did not end up getting my hair braided. My mom did not want to do it. We just kept down the relaxer and flat iron route.
Looking at school again.
Yeah.
Were you aware that all your teachers, did they think you were Black?
I would say a vast majority of them do. I had another fun breadcrumb that occurred my senior year of high school.
I'm here for it.
So senior year, hustle and bustle, college season, you know, my school was doing everything they possibly could to make sure the students at my school, the seniors, were set up for success for further education and their lives beyond. My senior year guidance counselor, she was phenomenal. She fought for her students, advocated for them. She was really aligned with the mission of setting us up for success. So because it was, you know, peak scholarship season, she gave us all individualized packets. Like, they were not just a couple of scholarships here and there. They were packets of scholarship applications. Like I said, individually, specifically picked for each of her students.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I can maybe see where this is going. So you got a packet.
I did.
And it contained scholarship information?
It sure did. So, you know, some of them... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and were they geared toward minorities?
Some of them were.
Okay.
So I got a few that were for, you know, being a lifelong inner city school student and for academics and athletics. But one of the last few was a scholarship revolving around an essay specifically about identity and the experience of being biracial.
So she's like, this is going to be a great match for you because obviously to anybody in the room, you are biracial and you'd be a great candidate for this scholarship.
Yeah.
Was this a light bulb moment for you?
Once again, I think I just, you know, love that blissful ignorance. Like we said before, you know, if there was something my family wanted to tell me, I assumed they would. Yeah. So when when I ended up reading it, I read it a few times over and I was like, she probably did this by mistake. Like, there's no way this was meant for me.
Yeah, because Eric is your dad.
Yes.
Eric is white.
Yeah.
Your mom is your mom. She's white.
Exactly.
That's all you know.
Yep.
Okay. Did you ask the teacher, like, what's up with this particular application?
Yeah, I ended up looking at her and just letting her know, I'm not going to apply for this one because it wasn't applicable to me. And her reaction was very interesting.
Okay, what did she say?
She looked like genuinely confused.
Yeah.
My girl was really just like, what is this child talking about? For context, this guidance counselor is a white woman who is married to a black man.
Okay.
And they have biracial children. So she knows a biracial child when she sees one.
Right. She's got cred.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so did you just brush it off?
Yeah. After she looked at me truly baffled, I was like, well, oh, well.
So did you attend college?
I did attend college.
So you graduated school. We're in the summer before college.
Yeah. I'm excited. I wasn't going far from my hometown. I was going to a smaller liberal arts college in a suburb. Oh gosh, at this point, my mom remarried.
Okay, so Eric is out of the picture.
Yeah.
He's bailed for the last time.
Eric is gone, so it's my mom and my stepdad now.
Your stepdad, okay.
Yeah.
How did they meet?
So my mom and my stepdad went to middle school together. Very cute. My stepdad had a major crush on my mom. One of my favorite stories is when he was going through old things from his parents' house, and he actually found a note that he was passing to a friend talking about how pretty my mom was from 8th grade.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, it was meant to be.
Oh, yeah, 100%. They rekindled on Facebook, of course. And it was very much love at adult sight. Eric was out of the picture. My stepdad had recently went through a divorce. And so, yeah, I gained a stepfather and 4 stepbrothers.
So your stepdad, he's pretty great.
Oh, he's an incredible guy. We call him the collector of children because he was a foster to adopt guy. He fostered kids and adopted most of the children that he fostered with his first wife. Yeah.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad that worked out so well.
Yeah.
Your stepdad steps into a parenting role for you.
Very much so.
He shares your mom's excitement for you going to school.
Yeah, they're very excited because I'm the oldest, I'm going to school.
First one going to college.
Yeah, so they're very excited for me. About 2 weeks before orientation and move-in, I was staying with a childhood friend who I was also going to be roommates with at that same college.
Okay.
Everything was working out great. We were having so much fun, counting down the days, talking about how we're going to set up our room, going to Target, all the normal things that teenagers about to go to college are doing. Eric's mother reached out to me. We had still been in contact, but, it was touch and go. She texted me out of the blue and told me that Eric wanted to talk to me. And this was the first time I had talked to him. So at this point, I'm 18 years old. I hadn't talked to this man since I was 13.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So I was on edge. I was super nervous. So the idea of him wanting to talk to me was super confusing. It was very unsettling, but I'm a curious person, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted to know what he had to say.
Well, this cannot be good. Lexie's about to get a truth bomb dropped on her that will rock her world.
I know it's the middle of winter, but it is hot as all get out here in Southern California. When I am endlessly guzzling water and I cannot quench my thirst, that's when I turn to Drip Drop to come rescue my hydration needs. After I am finally refreshed, I feel like everything else just clicks. Thanks to Drip Drop for supporting The Secret Room. Go to dripdrop.com and use promo code SECRET for 20% off your first order. Drip Drop uses a precise ratio of electrolytes and glucose for rapid absorption, delivering 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of leading sports drinks. And I feel the results fast. More focused, improved mood, and even glowing skin. And the portability is one of my favorite parts. I can keep the convenient packets in my purse for those unplanned hot days in my hometown. Drip Drop has science-backed formula. and it's engineered to rehydrate you faster and more effectively than water alone. And they even have flexible subscriptions if you want it delivered direct to your door, so you're never without proven hydration, whether it's the gym, running errands, or keeping up with a family schedule. Right now, Drip Drop is offering podcast listeners 20% off your first order. Go to dripdrop.com and use promo code SECRET. That's dripdrop.com, promo code SECRET for 20% off. Stock up now at dripdrop.com and use promo code SECRET. The offer is in the show notes.
And we are back, as Lexie braces to take an unexpected call from Eric, the man she thought was her dad, and with whom she hasn't spoken with since she was 13 years old. What did you do?
I did arrange a phone call with him. I had a feeling one way or another, whatever he was going to talk to me about, I wanted to be alone for it. So I ended up leaving my best friend's house and going to our local high school's parking lot just because I knew it was going to be empty. I could be alone.
I would be so nervous.
I was more curious than anything, but something in my gut told me that things were about to get weird if he was reaching out to me after all this time.
It had been about 5 years since you'd talked to him last.
Yeah, 5 years. That's
a
while in kid time.
Yeah, that's a long time. And then just out of the blue, boom, he wants to talk to you. You find yourself in the parking lot at school, ready to take the call.
Yeah.
What happens? So nervous for you.
Yeah. He called me and he was nervous. I don't have a ton of memories of Eric, but not a single one of them would I classify him as being a nervous guy. Mm-hmm. But he let me know that there was something super important that he wanted to say to me.
Gosh.
That he needed to tell me. He started, circling around it. He was half sentencing, kind of like word salad, where I was like, what are we talking about right now? Mm-hmm. I was a little confused, but that made it even worse. That confusion.
Yeah,
when
just
adults
spit it
do
out.
that. Yeah, I'm just like, okay, what is going on? Obviously, this is a huge deal. At that point, my heartbeat is so loud, I could hear it in my ears. My heart's just racing. I don't understand what's going on. And, then he takes a deep breath and says, Lexie, I'm not your dad.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He goes on to let me know that he adopted me as a baby, but he is not my biological father.
Oh my God. So what was your immediate reaction?
Well, hearing that is it turned my world a little off kilter to where at first my brain only took that first part of the sentence where he was like, I'm not your dad. And I'm like, yeah, no kidding. You were hardly around. Right. You're obviously not my dad. No offense, but you had a lot of growing up to do and you were not a good father. But then, my brain caught up to what he said in that second half. And he wasn't talking about his presence. He clearly said he wasn't my biological father. Mm. And I shut down. I went completely still.
Wow. So many questions must have been racing through your mind. Who is my real father? Why? Who else knows? Why hasn't my mom told me? Why is this a secret? Can this even be true? Where am I from? Who am I?
Yeah. No, I spiraled a little bit, after he told me that. He was like, well, I guess that's all. And
what?
You need to go talk to your mom, obviously, and hung up the phone. That was,
oh my God.
How the end of that conversation went.
And you're 18 at this point?
I am 18.
Oh my gosh. Was he waiting till you were 18?
I really don't know. I've never actually asked him. We don't really maintain contact. And by don't really, I mean, we don't maintain contact. Mm-hmm. So I've never asked him why he did that.
Yeah.
My grandma has her own thoughts. She's got a lot of opinions. She thinks a lot of it had to do with a little payback action. My mom was happy. She was well loved at this point by her new husband. And so we think it aligned a little with some vengeance towards my mother.
It was something that was going to out anyway at some point, I think.
Absolutely. One way or another, it was coming.
I mean, you would have just had to figure it out.
Yeah, eventually my rose-colored glasses might have slipped a little bit, and I've been like, oh man.
And so then he just said, that's it? Talk to your mom? Goodbye?
Yeah. So he laid this giant bomb on me and then hung up.
Were you in tears?
I was just sitting silently in my car shaking. Like my full body was shaking. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't even cry yet because my brain couldn't process. I couldn't think. I stayed in that state for about an hour, just sitting in my car shaking, staring out the windshield.
My God. You must have felt so sad.
Yeah.
And maybe angry?
I was devastated. A lot of emotions hit at once. Once the shock actually melted off of my body, I was sad. I felt massive betrayal. I'm angry. Like I could physically feel these things.
After an hour passed, you've got to be thinking, I need to talk to Mom.
Yeah, I was.
Get some answers.
I was thinking that, but my grandparents were closer. Yes.
And you have a great relationship with your grandparents.
Yeah, a wonderful relationship. From the high school I was parked at, they lived, I want to say like 5 minutes from that high school.
Okay.
So I definitely shouldn't have been driving. At this point, once all of the emotions hit, I'm sobbing. I'm still shaking. I'm very emotionally unwell. Shouldn't have drove anyway. It was very unsafe, but I drove straight to their house.
So you made a beeline to your grandparents' house.
They were the first ones that popped into my brain.
Okay.
I also know, like, when it comes to my grandmother, she's honest to a fault. If you ask her a question, she's going to tell you. And I figured if I was like, hey, here's what I know, she was going to tell me.
So you go to the house. Do you have the kind of relationship where you just walk in, or do you ring the doorbell?
Oh, no, we're not ringing the doorbell, folks.
Okay, you just burst in. You burst in, possibly teary-eyed, definitely shaken.
Yeah.
They must have been quite confused and worried.
Yeah, I was at that point, I was sobbing so hard, like I couldn't breathe. It was the hiccup kind of sobs where,
oh my gosh.
I was out of sorts.
You're finding it hard to breathe. You're so emotional.
Yeah, and as soon as I walk in, my grandparents see me in this state, they're thinking something atrocious has happened. So, they're confused. They rush at me to come comfort me. But that, I don't know what it was about that, but that made me fucking mad.
I can imagine. It's like you guys are clearly lying to me.
Yeah.
So you're feeling very separated from them at this moment, emotionally.
Yes.
And you need some answers.
Yep. I need them to tell me what's going on. So, because I was angry, which doesn't justify the way I spoke to them, I just started yelling. I yelled at them. I told them, what I had just been told. And, we're not you can yell at your elders kind of family. That's not how we do things. We respect our elders. We don't, no back talk, no yelling. It was the only time in my life, honestly, ever still, that I had ever raised my voice to my grandparents.
My gosh, they must have been shocked. What did you say?
I just got it all out. I said what, Eric said to me. I told them that he said he wasn't my biological father. Honestly, it's so hard for me to remember because all I remember is just screaming at them. They were shaken, to say the least.
Yeah. I mean, being confronted with the truth. They see that the veil has been lifted in your eyes. You understand that they've been withholding this secret from you.
Yeah.
Did Eric tell you that your father was black?
He did not. He left it very bare bones. Just, I'm not your biological father. I adopted you by.
Had this occurred to you, during this moment that, gosh, maybe my father was black, that would explain a lot, or had that not quite gotten to your consciousness yet?
Yeah, it hadn't even gotten to me yet.
Yeah. So what did your grandparents say?
When I had finally told them in my blind fury what had happened, the world kind of came back to me, and I look at them and they're both crying. Seeing my grandparents cry kind of sobered me up for a minute, where it came back down to earth, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? I ended up like apologizing for yelling at them. My grandparents told me I didn't need to say sorry. They admitted that they had wanted to tell me for a really long time, but didn't think it was their place.
I guess they were saying it was your mom's place.
That would be correct.
There's obviously more questions to be answered.
Yeah.
Did your grandparents have any other information to share?
Yeah, they did.
And boy, do they ever. And after they drop another truth bomb, Lexie's off to hear her mom's version of events, which delivers yet more revelations. Every group of friends has someone who insists on doing things the hard way, like the one who's still paying for a subscription they forgot they had, or the one who uses a whisk instead of a hand mixer. Well, I've been that person sometimes, particularly when it comes to overpaying for wireless. Then I found Mint Mobile, and I am so glad that I did. I want to thank Mint Mobile for supporting The Secret Room. Make the switch at mintmobile.com/secret. Stop paying way too much for wireless just because that's how it's always been. Mint exists purely to fix that. Same coverage, same speed, just without the inflated price tag. And for a limited time, get 50% off 3, 6, or 12-month plans for unlimited premium wireless. I'm using Mint Mobile, and you should too. I get the same coverage and the same speed as I got with Big Wireless, only the bills are so much less, and I'm not asking any questions. I am just happy to save the money. With a 7-day money-back guarantee and customer satisfaction ratings in the mid-90s, Mint Mobile makes it easy to try and see why people do not go back. Are you ready to stop paying more than you have to? New customers can make the switch today, and for a limited time, get unlimited premium wireless for just $15 per month. Switch now at mintmobile.com/secret. That's mintmobile.com/secret. Limited time offer. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan is required. That's a $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees are extra. Initial plan term only. More than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com. Take advantage of this deal today. mintmobile.com/secret. Check the show notes for the link. And we are back.
This is the house that I had lived in until I was 13 years old. So I'm very familiar with every nook and cranny. My grandfather stepped away from where we were standing and walked over to our fireplace mantle. On this mantle is where we keep our family Bible. It's just this massive Bible in an old wooden box that latches. My family keeps like obituaries and like the newspaper cuttings of these obituaries of folks that have passed that are near and dear to us in there, just like some little keepsakes, just mementos. He ended up opening the Bible, flipping through the pages of the Bible, and pulled out a photograph.
A photograph of your bio dad.
Yep, it was a photograph of my biological father and my mother, and someone had the hindsight to write his name on the back of the photo.
And it was clearly your mom.
Very much so, yes.
Describe their pose for me.
Yeah, so it was a photograph of my mother and a man who were in conversation. So you can see most of my mother's face. Mm-hmm. But you can only see the side profile of a black man sitting next to her.
Wow. Are you going to share that picture with us?
I will share that picture with you, Ben.
Okay, we'll put it on social.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. And so were you just silent, or did you have a stream of words? I'm just wondering. I don't know how I would react. He handed me the picture and he says, like, this is your dad. This is your dad, girl. Like, here you go. And I think I just stopped and stared at the picture for, I don't even know how long. It was one of those moments where time, oh God, this is so cliche, but like time froze. I just stood there staring because I was like, this is a stranger. I've never seen this person. I've never heard this name, which no surprise, was a secret. Did you get any sense that maybe your grandfather was holding on to this picture to give to you someday?
Yes, he did tell me that he was hoping that he would, still be around to be the one to be able to give me this photograph. He was hoping one day I would find out and he could be the one to help me navigate.
He had a big heart.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal. I'm really lucky that I had him as a father figure. He's an incredible guy.
Well, I was wondering about your choice to go to your grandparents first before your mom, but maybe that was the right way to go.
Yes. Yeah, it definitely was. They are the warmest people on this planet. They're amazing.
Did they share any stories about your mom and your bio dad?
Yeah, they told me they had only met him maybe a handful of times. He wasn't from the same state that we live in. He was just here for college. And, where we live in the winter, it gets real snowy, and he didn't want to have to drive home for Christmas. This was the most notable time that my parents met him, or grandparents met him. It was the most notable time my grandparents met him. My mom didn't want him to drive back in the snow, so she had invited him to spend the holiday with her family, my grandparents.
Did they say anything about his personality or his character? Did they like him?
My grandma kept things very, very neutral. Just, he was a guy who came to Christmas. He drank my grandpa's homemade dandelion wine. It was very, very even keeled. Nothing positive, nothing negative, but he was here and we met him. Actually, that conversation is what led to me finding out that they did not know that my mom was pregnant until she was in labor in their hallway.
Was she able to shed any light on why your mom kept her pregnancy secret?
She was embarrassed and she was scared. I think that's, sure, 19 and 20 seems older, but it's terrifying, I imagine, to have a child, period. I couldn't imagine doing it at that age. Yeah. So I think she was just very, very scared and felt very, very alone. Did your grandparents express regret? My grandparents did. They both really wanted to tell me for so long, but I think they were truly banking on the fact that my mom would tell me when she thought it was appropriate. She is the mom. It's kind of her job. What a revelation. Yeah. You've got that worked out with your grandparents, but there's a lot of conversations ahead of you still. The next one, I imagine, would be with your mom. Yeah. So, sorry. Hold on. Mm-hmm. Okay. Whew. This is my least favorite part. Okay. Yeah, I did not warn her. I got in the car and, drove right over. Was it a similar scene? Did you burst in the door and what's up with this? Yep. Yeah. I wasn't crying anymore. I think my emotions had started to settle in. Which is funny because I'm trying not to cry now. Well, you've got answers. Yes. My mom, still to this day, is my best friend. We were, she had me young, so we were really close in age, and we got to see each other grow up, which was really cool, and we still do. But she lied to me for 18 years, even if it was a lie by omission. She still lied to me, the person I trusted most in the world. You must have had a great deal of trepidation in your heart going to her. Yeah, I really did. I wasn't crying. I wasn't shaking. I just needed to know the truth at this point. I had heard my grandparents' version and Eric's version, but I wanted to hear it from her. I wanted to know why. Even though everybody is looped into this secret, it's her secret. Yeah. She's the one keeping everybody mum, I imagine. She really did. She thought it was her role to tell me. I would later find out that she actually did tell my stepfather. When she told him, he was like, yeah, no shit. Like... Yeah, like, obviously. Yeah. And how did he feel about keeping the truth from you? My stepdad was absolutely livid. He was mad. I was probably 15 when the conversation happened. I don't know. I wasn't a part of it. He was like, you need to tell her now. She'll understand now. But my mom refused. She wasn't ready. I don't know. But it nearly broke their relationship because he was just so disappointed that she could not tell me this truth about myself.
I'm surprised she didn't give in and tell you, but we'll get to her reasons in a bit. Yeah. But first I want to hear what happened when you get to her house. Pardon me, but you probably look a mess.
Oh yeah, my hair was definitely wild. My eyes were swollen. I'm one of those criers where like my face just kind of puffs up. It looks like I've had an allergic reaction. Like I'm a puffy girl when I cry. But like my clothes are all rumpled. It's summertime and I'm sitting in a beater with a heater. So like my clothes are rumpled and gross. I'd been crying for hours at that point. And the moment she saw me, she knew something was wrong. That's her job as a mom. She didn't even have to ask. She just knew something was up.
Did she ask? Or did you just blurt it out?
It took me a really long time to like even be able to figure out how to formulate the words. I didn't know how to ask. I was just, it was so easy with my grandparents because I'd had that fresh adrenaline rush. But at this point, things are settling in. I didn't know how to approach it. I did end up telling her what I knew.
She must have just been petrified.
Yeah. Like I said before, she's ghostly, but I've never seen her turn that shade of like white green before. She was terrified.
Glow in the dark.
She was very pale.
She must have been like, why didn't I tell her before?
Yeah, we've had some discussions. I know a little more now.
So you laid out for her everything you know.
Yes.
That Eric's not your bio dad, that you've seen this picture of your bio dad, what your grandparents said. Mm-hmm. You maybe even told her that you knew his name. I
did tell her I knew his name. I called him by name, I'm pretty sure.
She's like, damn, this girl knows everything.
Yeah. Yes. It wasn't like she saw a ghost. It's like a ghost punched her in the face when I said his name. She was gobsmacked.
I can't imagine. What did she say when you were done?
She was quiet for a really long time, like a scary long time. When a mom gets quiet like that, I was like, am I in trouble now? Did I just get in trouble? Because she was just so silent. And she did end up, telling me her truth. But in that moment, when I was hearing the story she was weaving, I immediately thought it was a lie. It was another cover up. There was no way this story that she's telling me is real. I thought it was bullshit.
What was her story?
Oh, her story was... Okay. Hold on. I'm so sorry, Ben.
No worries.
I'm sorry.
Take your time.
Okay. Her story is that, she was trying to protect me. She wasn't intentionally trying to lie because she wanted to hurt me or like hide something from me. She made sure to let me know that she didn't lie because she was racist. She was like, that's not an issue at all. Obviously not. Mm-hmm. She lied because she couldn't find the right time to tell me. She lied because she wanted to keep me protected from this person who had done some pretty scary things to her. And she wanted to keep me safe, but didn't know when to tell me, like when that safety clock runs out. She didn't know when.
Well, I think it's a matter of summoning up the courage, too.
I don't think she knew how to name her mistake.
What had your bio dad done that was scary?
Yeah, he threatened... Oh, gosh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Take your time.
Thank you. Okay. My mom claims that he was aware that she was pregnant. She did call and tell him. At this point, He had already moved out of the state, but she felt it was appropriate to let him know that she was pregnant. His immediate reaction was requesting that she abort me. My mother let him know that she was adamantly, pro-choice, but that wasn't the right choice for her.
Mm-hmm.
His reaction to that, he just got increasingly more angry. And he told her one way or another, even if he has to slip something in her drink, he would make sure that he would get rid of me.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
She told you this?
She did. It was, that part of the story came out a little later. But at the time, she just told me that she was protecting me, and I understand that way more now. Yeah, I think it was just the fear that, if he could threaten that, what's to stop him from going the full 9 yards and like coming and finding me at a later date. She didn't really know this dude very well. It was a fling. They spent, I don't know, like 3 months together before he moved away. But yeah.
Well, this is a lot for you to take in.
Yeah.
Did you look at your mom differently now?
When I first heard the story, like I said, I did not trust the word that came out of her mouth.
And as we end part 1, Lexie's reeling from all the revelations she's learned about who she is and where she comes from. And in the conclusion next time, armed with nothing more than a name and an old photograph, Lexie goes on the hunt to find her biological father. More revelations and more emotional hurdles lie in wait as Lexie leaves no stone unturned on a path leading to more than she expects. Learn the full truth along with Lexie about her biological father in just 2 short weeks on the next Secret Room. Members of our Facebook discussion group helped write questions for me today. Thanks to Jamie, Lene, Ashley, Sally, Nancy, Alexis, and more. And next time, we'll hear what Lexie thought when she accidentally stumbled across the post where I asked you guys for help. One question sent her howling. You can see pictures of Lexie on social media. Search at Secret Room Pod. You can also listen to The Secret Room on YouTube now. Your favorite indie podcast that could is listener and ad supported. If you like any of the products by our wonderful sponsors, please be sure to use our discount codes to let them know we sent you. And thanks to all of you fabulous members who support. I'd like to thank our newest members, Jamie, Melanie, Alyssa, Michelle, Cameron, Halo, Jerry, Yana, Britt, Michelle, KK, Erica, and Robin. And when you support The Secret Room as a member, you get access to a side project we produce. It's called The Secret Room Unlocked, and it's hosted by my very brash producer, Susie Lark. Here's what's next.
My guest, Deja, like Lexie on today's show, is Black and raised by white parents. But her secret is that she was living in conflict with everything she was taught and never knew how to make all those pieces fit together. Join me for Deja's story and a ton more on The Secret Room Unlocked. I follow up with your favorite guests and welcome new ones too. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and at patreon.com/secretroom.
Do you want to set your secret free? Take that first step by clicking the Share a Secret button at secretroompod.com. Thanks to Susie Lark and Luna Patel for production support, and Breakmaster Cylinder for the music. This episode was produced in Puntas, Puerto Rico. This is The Secret Room, a podcast about the stories no one ever tells. I'm Ben Ham. Pod on.